So it's phase 2 of the reloading process. We've got all the clean brass that we did the last time, and we've now got our reloading press set up. Kind of a temporary reloading bench here. It works very well. Hope they don't mind me drilling holes in it. And so we've got, next important thing here, we've got the die set, and each caliber of shell that you reload has got a different set of dies, and this is a 3 die set. So this one here does the decapping. It takes out the old primer and it resizes the shell, because when the shell's fired in the gun, the expansion, the gases expand the shell and it goes out of shape. So it's got to be put through this die here to reshape it, and you'll find that this pin here will push that old primer out. 2 actions in one. Now this die here is the next one we'll use, and this reshapes the neck of the shell to accept the bullet, because when it comes out of the first stage, this is too small to accept the bullet, and then this is the last one, which actually seats the bullet down into the shell case and does what's called a roll crimp, to crimp the 2 units together. Of course, in the interim time, you would have put a new primer in and you would have loaded the powder into the shell. So first of all, we've got to set up this die. So first thing we actually do is put the shell holder on the press, and each caliber you use has a different shell holder. This one is for 45 Colt, so this goes in like that, simple as that. So this, you then screw this down, put the press all the way down, and wait until that just contacts, which it does. And then what we've got to do is just move it down about let me see, we ought to do this again. Move it down till it touches there, then screw it down about another 1/4 of a turn, and then put the locking ring down like this, and you'll find this has got a little Allen wrench here. From now on, you could just hammer this die back into the press, and it will seat. So here we go. What we do is we put the shell in there, we bring that up there and bring it down like that, and you can see the old primer has been popped out, and this has now been resized. So that goes in there. One thing I ought to say is this is a carbide. You can see here, this is a carbide set of dies, and if it was just an ordinary steel set, I would need some kind of lubricant, but with carbide dies you don't need lubricant. So now you just keep on, only about 200 to go. And really, that's all there is to this stage. So I'm just going to finish off the rest of them and I'll get back to you. Okay, so here we are. Now all of these have been deprimed and they've all been shaped. So I might clean these again actually before, because the next step is to put the new primers in, and they look a bit grubby. There was some grease on the press, so I might clean those again before the next stage. But here we are, and these are all the used primers having been removed from the shell cases. So the die is now out of the press, and just for completeness I'll take out the shell holder, although I'll use it again, and put it all away, and then clean these up again, put the new primers in. That's the next stage. Okay. Hello. Right, next step, we've got to take the resized cartridge cases and we've got to insert the primers in here, because we've previously popped out the old primers, and these are what we're going to be putting in. Large pistol primers. So what we've got to do, just tip a few of these out onto the table and get them all the same way up. So anyway, for this we have the primer arm here, and this time that goes inside and goes through the shell holder like that. So what you do, you pop the primer into the socket, take your cartridge case, put it in there like that, and this time you push out, and now you can see the primer is seated. And you've also got to check that it's flat. So that's all there is to it, and a couple of hundred of these is going to take some time. Perfect. It's like anything else, you know, when you get into a rhythm, it's kind of muscle memory to a certain extent. That's a good firm press. That's working good. Do without flies, I must be honest. Yeah. I think a hand priming tool would be faster than this, but maybe I prefer to use this. And once you get going, it's not so bad. Anyway, I think you get the idea. So you're not going to have to sit here and watch me do 200 of these. That's enough to show you how it's done. Okay, the next step. We've got here a clean, resized shell with the primer mounted inside it. Now the next thing is we've got to expand the neck to take the bullet. Here's 45 Colt bullet, and you'll see that it doesn't fit in the neck. So this neck has got to be expanded, and we use this expanding die to do it. So put the shell holder, make sure we've got the shell holder in there, raise that up, and we screw the die down till it hits the shell holder, like that. And then you can lock this off. Here we are, that's the right one. Okay, so draw that, put the shell in the shell holder and bring that all the way up. Now this is the part of the die that does the expanding. It comes down into there and it goes into the shell and it expands the neck. So you've got to screw that down. So when you've finally got this adjusted, put the shell in like that. And the bullet will just fit inside the neck. And this should make the driving down of the bullet into the shell in the next stage easy without the shell case shading off parts of the lead. You can see it's just belled out a bit there. So that's set up, that's good to go. So now only another 230 to go. Okay, so here we got the 230-ish shells. Now I've had the ends flared out. Take the bullet, one bullet, and we can see if we can remove everything here. Is a bit too hot to touch today. This is the Arizona desert at its worst. Okay, so this is all set up now, so it won't have to be. Right, well today we're going to do the interesting part. We're going to start charging the cartridges with the propellant. After that we will insert the bullet and seat and crimp it, and we'll go through that later. I'll do that outside because my press is actually outside, and it'll have to be later today because it gets way too hot out there right now this time of year. It's summer in Arizona, you just don't want to be out there. So I'm going to charge up 100 cartridges and see how we go. So first of all, you have to consult the reloading manual, and this is the Bible, and this gives you for every caliber of pistol and rifle and whatever bullet you want to use, whatever powder you want to use. It gives you the minimum and the maximum charge, the number of grains of powder to put in. Now I'm using, because this I need low recoil and I need a nice mild cartridge for what I do, I'm using Trail Boss powder. Now this is a powder that's specifically used for cowboy action shooting. It's very good, it gives you very good loads, and this Bible of mine tells me that for Trail Boss the minimum load is 5.8 grains, maximum is 6.5. That will give me 800 feet per second muzzle velocity, depending on the bullet I use, of course. Previously I used 6 grains, so that's what I'm going to stick with today. So put that there, and the first thing we have to do is to set up our scale. This is a very basic mechanical scale. I could go all sort of high tech and have a electronic scale and whatever, but A, I can't afford it, and B, I don't need it. This one works perfectly. So it's all set for 0, 0, 0, 0. So this is tens of grains. This is 0.1 and this is 0.01. That's the way that works. So you zero the scale just by screwing this down. There we are. That's about 0 there. That's going to be close enough for me. If I was being really pernickety, I would set it a bit short and use a powder trickler just to get the last few grains of powder exactly right, but for my purposes I don't need to do that. So let's go and get the press set up and